विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुराः सुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So we had a small glimpse of the 11th chapter in the form of Vishwarupa Darshana. And now Bhagwan comes to the 12th chapter, which is the final chapter of the second part of Bhagavad Gita. The first part is what? First chapter to 6th chapter is the first part of Bhagavad Gita. Then the 7th chapter to the 12th chapter is the second part of the Bhagavad Gita. Then the 13th chapter to the 18th chapter is the third part of Bhagavad Gita. So now we are in the second part, last chapter, the 12th chapter. And here Bhagwan talks about Bhakti. This chapter is called as Bhakti Yoga. Now, what is the meaning of Bhakti? We have already seen that. Many times I have told you. What is the meaning of Bhakti? To be connected, to be always keeping God in mind. Whatever I am doing, whatever action I am doing, wherever I am, with whoever I am, constantly I am thinking of God. I feel as if this God is there next to me. God is with me. That kind of a connection with the God, where I don't lose that connection with the God at all. And constantly I am surrendering to that God. Surrendering does not mean that you have to do namaskara every time. In my mind, there is that attitude of surrender. There is love for this God. I trust this God. Okay, I have full faith in this God, and I feel that whatever I am doing, wherever I am there, God is by my side. God is my partner. Whatever I need, God will help me to do. And what do I need to do? I need to love God unconditionally. Love God means what? Love God means have trust in God. Have trust in God and always connect myself with God, so that whatever comes to me, I am able to accept it as God's prasada. Whenever I do anything, I see Bhagwan's hand in it. Okay, there is an unseen hand. Whenever I am in difficulties, whenever I am in trouble, I see many times that there is something which helps me. When I am totally committed to Bhagwan, when I surrender to Bhagwan or God, when I have full trust in Bhagwan, whatever is happening in my life, I find that there is something which is guiding me. There is some force which is guiding me. Bhagwan is protecting me from all sides. Okay? And this connection with God, never losing this connection with God, never stopping loving this God, all the time trusting God that he or she, that God is the best friend I have got. Who is my best friend? If somebody asks, what will I say? God is my best friend, because he knows what I want. He knows. God means he or she, whatever it is. God, we cannot say he or she. God can be he, God can be she, God can be it, whatever it can be. But then God knows what I want. God guides me whenever I need guidance. God helps me whenever I need help. But what should I do for that? I should be having love, surrender, and trust in this God. And then God is always with me. He will be always with me. Okay? So this is what is called as bhakti. And what does Bhagwan do here? What does God do here in the 12th chapter in the Bhakti Yoga? He traces the bhakti from the Karma Yoga stage. Okay, we know that in the 2nd chapter and in the 3rd chapter, what did God talk about? He talked about Jnana Yoga, he talked about Karma Yoga, correct? And then in the 6th chapter, he talked about Dhyana, meditation, correct? In the 7th chapter, what did he talk about? He said, I am the very cause of this world. I am the maker of this world. I am the material with which this world is made. Correct? And in the 9th chapter, what did he do? He described his para-prakriti. Correct? And then in the 10th chapter, what did he do? He wanted Arjuna to see him not as one Krishna. He wanted Arjuna to see him, that is Krishna, as the whole universe, as the total. That's what Krishna wants us also to do. Initially, we hold on to one name and form. One name and form of what we call whichever God we like. Bhuvan has a special attraction to Ganapati Devata. So who is his Ishta Devata? Ganapati Devata. Rajadatta has a special affinity for Hanuman. Correct? So he holds Hanuman as his Ishta Devata. Swami. Okay. Rajadatta says Swami. Swami is also a manifestation of Bhagwan himself. So each one of us have one special favorite God, Devata. Okay? And then Bhagwan says that this kind of a connection with God, with one form which you love, that is also bhakti. But then he's telling it, Arjuna in the 10th chapter and 11th chapter, what is he saying? Arjuna, learn to see me in this whole world as the manifestation itself. See me as the whole world. Don't see me as one separate Krishna. Don't see me as one separate Rama. See me as everything in this world. Whatever is there in this world, you see me. You see the whole world in me. And that is why what did Bhagwan do? He showed, he revealed his Vishwarupa Darshana to Arjuna, which we saw in the last class, isn't it? On Monday and Tuesday. Now, what Bhagwan wants to say is, look, there are certain other bhaktas also. Who are those bhaktas? These bhaktas are the ones who want to know me, Jignasu bhaktas. And how do they want to know me? They want to know me in my real sense, really the way I am. And Bhagwan says, who am I in reality? I am just that Atma Swarupa. Like what he told about us, what did Bhagwan say about Jiva Swarupa? He said, Arjuna, you are not the body and the mind. Who are you? You are not the body, but who are you? You are that consciousness, Atma Swarupa. And how did I describe it in the 4th chapter? I use the example of electricity with all the gadgets, correct? So what did Bhagwan say? All the bodies of all the living beings are like gadgets. And I am like that electricity working through each body, each gadget. And therefore, what is my real nature, Arjuna? My real nature is that I am Atma Swarupa. Just like you are Atma, you are not the body. I am also not the body of Brahma or Krishna. Who am I then? I am also Atma. Arjuna, you are also Atma. I, Bhagwan, also am Atma. Therefore, many people are doing bhakti, or they are my bhaktas who want to know me as Atma, who want to know me in reality. Therefore, they are called as what? They are called as Nirguna Bhaktas. And all these other bhaktas who want to see me in a particular name and form, who want to worship me in the form of Rama, Krishna, Devi, Hanumanta, Narasimha, whatever it is, okay? They are all called Saguna Ishvara Bhaktas. What is the meaning of Saguna? They want to connect with a name, with a form. They are comfortable in connecting to me, surrendering to me, loving me in a particular form. But where, Arjuna, there are certain other bhaktas who want to see me, connect with me as their Atma itself. They don't want to see me in a particular name and form, but they want to understand my real nature. What is my real nature? Aham Atma Gudakesha. I am that Atma in all of you, in all the jivas. And that is how some people want to worship me. They want to worship my nirguna nature without any name and form. But many people want to worship me with the name and form, and they are called as Saguna Ishvara Bhaktas. Now, what is the question of Arjuna? Arjuna wants to know who is superior among them. Who is superior? A Saguna Bhakta is great or a Nirguna Bhakta is great? A person who is worshipping God with the name and form is great, or a person who is worshipping God without any form as Atma. Is that person great? Now this is the question which Arjuna wants to ask Bhagwan. And in the first question, in the first verse, what does Arjuna say? Arjuna uvācha evaṁ satata-yuktā ye bhaktās tvāṁ paryupāsate ye chāpy akṣharam avyaktaṁ teṣhāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. So what is he asking? Hey Krishna, I know that some people are constantly connecting with your name and form, and they have one particular favorite form of you, and they worship you using that particular form. But I have also heard that there are other bhaktas also who are not interested in worshipping you in your form. They are interested in knowing you as the very Atma of all the jivas. And among these two bhaktas, who is superior? Who is great? This is the question of Arjuna. Now, if you really look at it, children, this question itself is not a correct question. Okay? Supposing now you are studying in, say, 7th standard. Okay? Now, you ask your teacher, is high school great or college is great? And the teacher will ask you, why are you asking this question, Rajadatta? He says, I want to become a PhD scientist. Therefore, I know that only going to a university, I can get a PhD degree. So, is this college which gives me a university which gives me the PhD degree is great, or now my 7th standard is great? If you ask this question, what will your teacher say? You yourself are laughing, no? This question is not valid at all. Correct? Huh? So what will your teacher say? Your teacher will say, look Rajadatta, right now, let that university be there. Don't worry about it. Okay? For you, right now, your 7th standard is the greatest. Because you have to pass 7th standard, go to the 8th standard, finish your high school, then go to PUC, then go to your, what you call your, degree college, then only you can go to a big university for PhD. But one thing, that big university only will ultimately give you the PhD. Yes. But then you can't jump from 7th standard to that university for PhD. Correct? You agree? Huh? So, what Bhagwan says here is, ultimately, these Nirguna Bhaktas who want to know my real nature as Atma, they are very great. And ultimately, they get what? They get moksha. and they become sthita prajñas. But Arjuna, where are you now? You are still in the 7th standard. You are still in the high school. So for you, high school is very important. So now if you ask, any one of you ask, like Sharat asked me this question, what will I say? Right now, your school is the best for you. But ultimately, it is that university which will give you the degree of PhD. But to reach there, you have to complete your school and college and then go. Therefore, what Krishna says here is, no doubt that the Nirguna Bhakta ultimately becomes a Sthita Prajna. But then Arjuna, where are you now? You are still in the high school. Okay? You are still here. You are still not able to concentrate on even my Vishwarupa. What happened to you when I revealed my Vishwarupa to you? You got scared. You got scared and told me, please withdraw your Vishwarupa. I cannot see you. Come back to your Saumya Rupa, to your human form. So, Arjuna, you have long way to go. So, Saguna Ishvara Bhakti is the first step. That is the step which takes you to understanding Bhagwan as Atma. Therefore, this is a stepwise approach. This cannot be, you can't jump straight to a college. You have to finish your high school, finish your PUC, then go to a degree college, then go to a university for PhD. These steps are there. And Arjuna, for all of us, Lord Krishna is saying that initially we all have to be bhaktās of Ishvara with their name and form, because it is easy to connect with God with the name and form. Are you following what I am saying? Correct, Jankar? You're following? Huh? Because without first surrendering myself to Bhagwan with name and form, I cannot think of Bhagwan without a name and form. I can't think of God without a name and form unless I have been a bhakta of God with name and form and prepared my mind to see Bhagwan as Atma Swarupa. Therefore, Arjuna, I will tell you that there are bhaktās starting from Karma Yoga, and Bhagwan takes Arjuna from the first step to the last step of bhakti. And in this chapter, in the 12th chapter, Bhagwan talks about different levels of bhakti starting from the first standard onwards, starting from the nursery school, then the primary school, then the high school, then the college, then the university. Okay, this is the way Bhagwan is going to explain to Arjuna and to us that we have a stepwise approach to bhakti. And what does Krishna say here? Now I will not read any more verses here. It is only an explanation. What Bhagwan says is, look Arjuna, when you become a karma yogi, you are a bhakta. Correct? Why? Because you are accepting all the karma phala as my prasada. Correct? That is the first step. Whatever actions happen through you, whatever karma phala comes, you accept that karma phala as my prasada. Why? Because you are my bhakta. Correct? You are my bhakta and you are taking me as a God with certain name and form. And what are you doing? Whatever comes to you in the form of good result, bad result, medium result, you accept it without any judgment. How do you accept it? Whatever I have got is Ishvara Prasada. If it is a good result, I thank Ishvara for that. I thank God for that. If it is not the result up to my choice, up to what I wanted, what do I say? Bhagwan, I will accept this result. I will try my best to do better next time. I will find out what my mistakes were this time. I will work harder and try to get better results next time. Okay, so in the first step, Krishna says, my bhakta accepts whatever comes to him as a karma phala because he is my bhakta. He receives whatever I give as my prasada. Understand? Now, Krishna goes to the second step. He says, in Karma Yoga also, Arjuna, merely receiving the Karma Phala as my prasada is not enough. You have to learn to offer all the actions that you do to me. We saw that in Karma Yoga, isn't it? Offering all my actions to God, Ishwararpana Buddhi is Karma Yoga. Accepting the Karma Phala as Ishvara Prasada or God's Prasada is also Karma Yoga. But how does Bhagwan start? The first step he says in a Karma Yogi is what? Accepting whatever comes as my prasada. He is the bhakta who is very dear to me. Why? Because he come to the first step. He has come to the first step, correct? He wants to connect with me. He wants to be my bhakta. He has come to the first step and willing to accept all the karma phalas as my prasada. Okay? Then he takes Arjuna to the second step. He says, in the second step, you have become quite an expert in accepting whatever comes as my prasada. Now, in the second step, Arjuna, learn to offer all your actions to me. Okay? Offering actions means what? Can you offer like this? This is my action. Take it. Can you offer it to Bhagwan like you offer flowers to Bhagwan? Can you offer your actions like you offer a naivedya to Bhagwan? No. Whatever action you're doing, you have that feeling in your mind that Bhagwan, Swami, I am doing this action as an offering to you. This action is my worship to you. I am studying now after 8:30. That is my offering to you. I am writing an exam after a few months. That is my offering to you. Whenever you are doing something, you think of God with the particular name and form, and in your mind you have that attitude. In your mind you talk to God and say, Bhagwan, hey God, I will offer these actions to you. They belong to you now. They are no longer my actions. They belong to you. And who is this person? He is also a bhakta. Therefore, a karma yogi is also a bhakta. In the first step, he is a bhakta because he receives the karma phala as my, here me means Bhagwan, accepts my karma, whatever I give as my prasada. In the second step of karma yoga, you are connecting with me, and all the time your attitude is what? When you're doing all the actions, I'm offering my actions to you, God. Second level of bhakti. Now he comes to the third step of bhakti. He says, by doing karma yoga, what happens? There is chitta shuddhi. I told you that, no? By doing karma yoga, what happens? Your mind is cleansed of all the impurities, all the disturbance, all the likes and dislikes. Your mind is literally washed and cleared of all its impurities by doing karma yoga. Now, Arjuna, what should you do? You should try to focus your mind, which is called as upasana, which is called as japa. Okay, you have to connect with me, your Ishta Devata. And how do you connect? You focus your mind on me and try to repeat my name. Do dhyanam on me. Connect with me show your bhakti by focusing your mind on me and doing my japa. This is what is called as connecting to one Ishta Devata or one Ishvara with the name and form for focusing my mind. Okay, so who are you? You are also a bhakta. Who are you? Ishta Devata Bhakta. You are focusing on me in the form of a Devata or a God which you like very much. So you are a bhakta who is trying to concentrate your mind, focus your mind so that you develop the capacity of focusing. Therefore, what do you become? You become my bhakta with the particular name and form. Okay, so you are also the bhakta. Third step is over. Now what does God say? Arjuna, this is not enough. Connecting with me, focusing in me with a name and form as your Ishta Devata, it will only give you the focusing capacity of the mind. But then Arjuna, you have to learn to expand your mind to ultimately understand me. Therefore, become a bhakta of Vishwarupa. That's what we saw, no? All this. Initially, what was Arjuna? He was only a bhakta of the name and form called Krishna. From 7th chapter, what did Bhagwan teach Arjuna? Learn to see me as what? Learn to see me as the cause of this whole world. Learn to connect with me as the whole world. Learn to worship me as Vishwarupa. Okay, so now be a Vishwarupa Bhakta, Arjuna. What is the advantage of being an Vishwarupa Bhakta? You will expand your mind. What is the need to expand your mind? Ultimately, to become a Nirguna Bhakta and understand me that I am the Atma. In everybody, you need to expand your mind. Why? Because this knowledge of Atma is a very, very difficult knowledge. It is a subtle knowledge. Your mind should be capable of focusing one-pointedly. Your mind should be expanded enough to understand me as the Atma in all the beings. Therefore, Arjuna, may you become a Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakta. May you surrender all your actions to me, the Vishwarupa. As you have seen me in the 11th chapter, as I have expressed and explained to you my glories in the 10th chapter, what is that? Bhagwan has presented himself as Vishwarupa. So how many steps did we complete? 4 steps. Correct? Accepting Ishvara's all my karma phala as Ishvara's blessings and prasada is number 1 bhakta. The number 2 bhakta is what? I learn to offer all my actions, my attitude mentally to Bhagavan. Correct? Number 3 what? I want to focus on one name and form to develop the capacity to focus my mind on God. What did he call that? Ishta Devata Bhakta. One form, whichever Devata I like, whichever God I like. Then what did he say? Now Arjuna, come to the step 4, where you connect with me, surrender to me, worship me, not in one form, but as Vishwarupa Ishvara, as I showed myself to you in the previous chapter. Now the final stage, which Bhagavan says, you have to ultimately, Arjuna, learn to see me without any name and form. You have to learn to understand me as that Atma in all the jivas. As I told you, Arjuna, you are not the body. I told you, isn't it? You are not the mind. You are not the body. Who are you? you are that Atma. What is the reality of Jiva? What is the reality of every being? Atma, consciousness. Similarly, Arjuna, what do you think I am? Ishvara. You may see me with the name. You may see me with many forms like in Vishwarupa Darshana. But what is my real nature? What is my ultimate nature? Who am I? I am that Atma in all the Jivas. Understood? This is what is called as Nirguna Bhakti. Okay, Gandharva? This is called as Nirguna Bhakti. So what is Krishna's purpose here in teaching Bhagavad Gita to all of us? Bhagwan wants us to start from first level of a bhakta. Then he will pull us to the second level. Because we have total trust and faith in Bhagwan. Bhagwan will hold our hand and help us to climb from the first step to the second step. And if we are there on the second step sufficiently, trained ourselves sufficiently, God will pull us up to the third step, fourth step, fifth step. And from fifth step, where do you go? We become sthita prajñas. So God wants all of us to become sthita prajñas. We saw that. What is sthita prajña? He is the one who is balanced everywhere. He loves everybody. He does not hate anybody. He does not get disturbed. He accepts whatever comes as Ishvara Prasada. And what is this sthita prajña called? Jnani Bhakta. We saw that, isn't it? Sthita prajña is also called as a Jnani Bhakta. So what is Bhagwan Krishna's intention in Bhagavad Gita? He wants all of us to become bhaktās at all levels. And Bhagwan says that bhakti to my highest nature of Atma is not possible. You can't jump from step 0 to step 5. Therefore, Arjuna, be a bhakta at every step. At the step 1 also you are bhakta. I will pull you to the second step. I will pull you to the third step. And ultimately, I will pull you to the fourth step where you get this knowledge that I am teaching you and you become a jnani bhakta. You become a sthita prajña. You become a free person. You become an example to the other people. You become an example to the bhaktās, other bhaktās. Okay, therefore, in the 12th chapter, up till the 12th verse, what does the Lord say? Lord wants Arjuna to see that at every step of my connection with Bhagwan, I need to be a bhakta. I have to be a bhakta. Without bhakti, I cannot know Bhagwan. Without bhakti, there is no chance of Bhagwan being a part of my life. What is bhakti? Bringing Bhagwan or God more and more and more into my life. All the time, whatever I do, there is Bhagwan. Whenever I speak, there is Bhagwan. Whatever is the situation in the world, it is Bhagwan's sankalpa. It is Bhagwan's idea. If the war has to take place, Mahabharata war, it is Bhagwan's sankalpa. If Bhishma and Drona and Karna and other people have to die, it is Bhagwan's sankalpa. He told that in the 11th verse, 11th chapter. What did he say? Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Isn't it? I have done all the job. You become only a nimitta. So what is a bhakta? A bhakta understands that Bhagwan does everything. I am only a nimitta. My body, mind, sense complex is only an instrument which Bhagwan uses. Correct? When I write, what writes? The pen writes. Correct? But can the pen write independently? No. The pen is an instrument in my hand. Correct? Similarly, I am an instrument in God's hands. And when I surrender myself totally as an instrument in God's hands, I am a bhakta. What is a bhakta? I am willing to be an instrument in God's hands. I am willing to carry over whatever is Bhagwan's sankalpa. I am willing to do whatever Bhagwan wants me to do. I am willing to accept anything that comes as blessings and grace of Bhagwan. This is bhakti, children. And this is what is explained in the 12th chapter as bhakti yoga. Bhakti is not a separate sadhana. Bhakti is not something separate. Bhakti is in and through all the stages of my worship. As a karma yogi also I am a bhakta. As an upasana yogi also I am a bhakta. As a jnana yogi also I am a bhakta. In knowing Bhagwan I am a bhakta. As an artha bhakta I am a bhakta. Of course I am only approaching God in distress. Artharthi bhakta is also a bhakta because he depends on Ishvara for his success. He depends on God for his success. A jignasu bhakta is a bhakta. Why? Because a jignasu bhakta wants to know Bhagwan and get free from this bondage and become a jivan mukta. Correct? A jnani bhakta is inseparable from God. Therefore, he is a bhakta par excellence. So tell me, children, where and in which stage there is no bhakti? You tell me. At every step, I should be a bhakta. If I'm not a bhakta, then Bhagwan cannot help me. If I want to be a karma yogi, I need to be a bhakta so that God will help me. If I want to be a meditator, I should be a bhakta so that God will help me. If I want to know the ultimate nature of Bhagwan by jnanam, by scriptural knowledge, I need to be a bhakta. It's only my bhakti by which God will give me this knowledge. Understood? Therefore, what is the message that God, Bhagwan, Krishna is giving in 12th chapter? Bhagwan is saying that you are my bhakta in whichever stage you are. If you are a karma yogi, be a karma yogi. You are my bhakta. You are very dear to me. If you are an artha bhakta coming to me for help in distress, don't worry. I am connected to you. I will help you. If you are an upasaka meditating on me, you are my bhakta. I will help you to meditate on me. I will give your mind the capacity to focus on me. I will give you the capacity to expand your mind to know me. Okay? If you are a jnana yogi, means what? If you want to know this knowledge of the scriptures which I am teaching you in Bhagavad Gita, you are a bhakta there also. To understand what I am talking about in Bhagavad Gita, you need to be a bhakta. Okay? To assimilate whatever I am telling you in Bhagavad Gita, whatever knowledge I am giving you, you need to be a bhakta. And ultimately, to be a sthita prajna, by getting this knowledge properly, you need to be a bhakta. Therefore, where is bhakti, children? All the time there is bhakti. Everywhere there is bhakti. Unless I am connected to Ishvara, unless I am a bhakta of Ishvara, unless I am willing to love Ishvara unconditionally, unless I am able to offer and worship Ishvara with everything that I do, that is what is called as bhakti. Bhakti is not something, which, we have to, what I can do, can I do bhakti? There is not anything to do. Bhakti is an attitude. Bhakti is the way in which I connect, like love. You love your parents. Is there something which you can bring in there? It is an attitude. It is in your mind which connects you to your parents. You love your brothers and sisters. That love connects you to your brothers and sisters. You love your teachers. You respect your teachers. That connects you to your teachers. And when I love God unconditionally, when I surrender to God unconditionally, I become a bhakta. And therefore, Krishna says, at every step, Arjuna, you need to connect to me, you need to be a bhakta. And at every step, I will be there to guide you how to become a bhakta and get the benefit of this bhakti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.